You know that feeling. Someone just said something to you, something sharp, something designed to make you look small. And in that moment, your brain freezes, your heart races, you feel the heat rising in your chest. You want to say something back, something cutting, something that will put them in their place. But nothing comes out. Or worse, you stammer. You defend yourself, you explain, you justify. And as the words leave your mouth, you can feel it. You are losing. Not because you are wrong, but because you are reacting. And the person who reacts is the person who loses. Later, hours later, maybe even days later, the perfect comeback hits you. The line that would have destroyed them. The response that would have flipped the entire interaction in your favor. But it is too late. The moment is gone. And all you are left with is the bitter taste of defeat and the knowledge that you let someone else control you. This happens because most people do not understand what an argument actually is. They think it is about truth. They think it is about facts. They think if they just explain themselves clearly enough, if they just make the other person see reason, everything will be fine. That is a fantasy. Arguments are not about truth. They are about power. They are about who controls the frame, who controls the emotional temperature of the room, who walks away feeling like they won. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this 500 years ago. He understood that human beings are not rational creatures. We are emotional, hierarchical animals. We do not respect the person who is right. We respect the person who is in control, the person who does not flinch, the person who does not need to raise their voice because their presence alone commands the room. Today, you are going to learn 7 verbal weapons. 7 responses that do not just end an argument. They dismantle the other person's ability to control you. These are not clever comebacks you use to get a laugh. These are psychological circuit breakers. Tools that shift the power dynamic so completely that the other person has no choice but to back down or look foolish trying to continue. And the seventh one is the nuclear option. It is so final, so dismissive, that it does not just end the argument. It redefines the relationship. It tells the other person that they no longer have access to you. But I need to warn you, once you learn how to do this, you will start seeing social interactions differently. You will see patterns. You will see people trying to manipulate you in real time. And you will stop feeling afraid. You will start feeling cold, calm, detached. And in that coldness, you will find a kind of power most people never experience. Let's begin. Comeback number 1. The compassionate reframe. Are you okay? When someone attacks you, they are almost never attacking you because of what you did. They are attacking you because something inside them is broken. Anger is a secondary emotion. It is a shield. Underneath it is fear, insecurity, a loss of control. When someone screams at you or insults you or tries to humiliate you in front of others, they are trying to regain a sense of power. They are trying to make you feel as small as they feel inside. And the trap that most people fall into, is that they take the bait. They scream back. They defend themselves. They try to prove the other person wrong, and in doing so, they validate the entire interaction. They agree that this is worth getting emotional about. They step into the mud and start wrestling. Machiavelli would tell you never to fight on the enemy's terrain. If they want chaos, you give them order. If they want heat, you give them ice. So here is what you do. The moment they launch their attack, the moment they raise their voice or try to embarrass you, you do not respond to their words. You respond to their state. You let a beat of silence pass. 1 second, 2 seconds. Just long enough for them to notice that you are not reacting the way they expected. And then you look at them. Not with anger, not with fear, with concern. And you say, "Are you okay? You seem really upset right now." Watch what happens. It is like pulling the power cord out of the machine. They were expecting a fight. They were expecting you to defend yourself, to argue back, to give them something to push against. Instead, you just reframed the entire situation. You made it about them. You made them the problem. Not their words, not their argument, them, their emotional state, their lack of control. By asking if they are okay, you have positioned yourself as the stable one, the adult in the room. the doctor observing a patient, and you have positioned them as the one who is out of control, the one who is broken, the one who needs help. This destroys their momentum because now, if they keep screaming, they are proving your point. They are confirming that yes, something is wrong with them. They cannot continue attacking you without looking unhinged. And most people, even in the heat of anger, have enough self-awareness to realize this. So they will pause. They will stutter. They will try to justify their anger. And that is when you twist the knife. You nod slowly. You keep that calm, almost clinical expression on your face. And you say, "I hear you, but this level of emotion does not seem to match the situation. Is something else going on?" Now you are not just reframing them as unstable. You are forcing them to examine their own behavior. You are making them self-conscious. And self-consciousness is the enemy of aggression. Think about it. A king does not scream at a peasant. A general does not scream at a foot soldier. The person who screams is the person who feels powerless. By pointing out their emotion, you are holding up a mirror. And what they see in that mirror, a red-faced, out-of-control mess, will make them want to stop looking. They will lower their voice. They will back down. Not because you won the argument, but because you refused to have the argument on their terms. You stayed calm. You stayed in control. And control is what wins. Comeback number 2. The conversational dead end. That's an interesting perspective. There is a certain type of person who does not argue to find truth. They argue because they enjoy the fight. They are the intellectual bully. The person at the dinner table who brings up politics just to watch people squirm. The coworker who plays devil's advocate not because they believe what they are saying, but because they like seeing you get frustrated. These people feed on your reaction. They need you to push back. They need you to get emotional. Because that is how they know they got to you. That is how they feel powerful. Machiavelli taught that you should never waste resources on a battle that yields no profit. Arguing with someone who just wants to provoke you is a waste of your energy. It is a trap, so you do not step into it. When they finish their rant, when they drop their controversial opinion or their thinly veiled insult, you do not engage with the content. You do not bring up facts. You do not correct them. You do not get defensive. You look at them with a blank expression. Not angry, not amused, just neutral. And you say that's an interesting perspective. And then, this is the key, you go back to whatever you were doing. You take a sip of your drink. You check your phone. You turn to someone else and change the subject. You have acknowledged that they spoke, but you have denied them significance. The phrase, "that's an interesting perspective," is a polite dismissal. On the surface, it sounds respectful, but underneath, it is devastating. Because what you are really saying is, "I heard you, I processed what you said, and I have decided it is not worth discussing." You are treating their passionate belief like a child's crayon drawing. That's nice, sweetie. Now run along. They will hate this, because you have taken away the one thing they wanted, your reaction. They will try again. They will push harder. So you agree with me, or do you think I'm wrong? And you repeat the wall. I think it is a perspective, and you are entitled to it. You are not arguing. You are not defending. You are simply refusing to play. And when someone realizes they cannot get a reaction out of you, they lose interest. Not because you convinced them of anything, but because you are no longer fun to mess with. You are boring. And being boring to a narcissist or a bully is the safest thing you can be. Comeback number 3. The power of silence. Nothing. We are terrified of silence. In most social settings, a gap in conversation feels like a threat. It feels uncomfortable, awkward, like something is wrong. So when someone insults us or asks a loaded question or says something designed to provoke us, our instinct is to fill the void immediately. We rush to respond. We defend ourselves. We explain. We try to smooth things over. And in doing so, we hand over our power. Because the person who feels the need to fill the silence is the person who is uncomfortable. And the person who is uncomfortable is the person who is losing. Machiavellian power is not loud. It is quiet. It is still. It is the ability to sit in discomfort without flinching. When someone says something rude to you, when they insult you or challenge you or try to put you on the spot, do nothing. Do not answer. Do not react. Just look at them. Hold eye contact and count 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 seconds of silence feels like an eternity in the middle of a heated conversation. And in that silence, something happens. The other person's brain starts to panic. Did they hear me? Did I go too far? Why are not they reacting? What are they thinking? In that moment, you are not the one being judged. They are. Because your silence forces them to sit with what they just said. It forces them to hear their own words echoing in the space between you. And often, when people hear their own aggression reflected back at them, they realize how bad it sounds. After the silence, you do not even need a clever comeback. The silence was the comeback. But if you want to twist the knife a little, you can say, "Could you repeat that?" Say it slowly, calmly, like you genuinely did not hear them. Now they have to say the rude thing again. But this time, the heat of the moment is gone. The spontaneity is gone. Repeating an insult makes it sound worse. It makes the person saying it feel foolish, and often they will not repeat it. They will backtrack. They will soften it. They will say, "Never mind." And just like that, you have won. Not by arguing, not by defending yourself, but by using time as a weapon. You forced them to sit in the discomfort of their own aggression. And most people cannot handle that. They will apologize. They will change the subject. They will do anything to end the tension. But you were fine the whole time, because you were in control. Comeback number 4, the agreement disarm. You're right. This one is counterintuitive, and that is exactly why it works. When someone attacks you, they are braced for resistance. They expect you to defend yourself, to argue, to say, "No, you are wrong." That is what keeps the fight going. That is what gives them something to push against, so you take away the resistance. When someone says something like, "You are being so difficult right now," you do not argue. You say, "You're right, I am being difficult." When they say, "You do not care about anyone but yourself," you say, "I can see why it feels that way." Do not say it sarcastically. Do not say it with attitude. Say it like it is a simple fact. Because here is the thing. By agreeing, you take away their weapon. If you accept the label cannot be used to hurt you. If you admit to being difficult, they cannot use that against you anymore. You have disarmed the warhead. But here is the Machiavellian twist. You are not agreeing with the core of what they are saying. You are agreeing with the surface. You are agreeing with the moment, not the identity. If someone calls you arrogant and you say, "I can be arrogant sometimes," you are not saying, "I am a terrible person." You are saying, "I am human, I have flaws, and I am secure enough to admit them." This signals massive confidence, because only someone who is truly secure can admit a flaw without crumbling. It confuses the attacker. They were expecting a fight. You gave them a shrug. They wanted to hurt your feelings. You showed them you have no feelings to hurt. And then, after you agree, you pivot. You say, "You're right, I am being difficult about this, because this matters to me. So how do we solve it?" See what just happened. You accepted the insult. You brushed it off like dust. And then you redirected the conversation back to the actual issue. You showed that you are not interested in defending your ego. You are interested in solving the problem. This makes you look mature, reasonable, in control. And it makes them look petty for trying to make it personal. You have flipped the script, and they have no move left. Comeback number 5, the intent extraction. What are you trying to accomplish here? Some people do not attack you directly. They are too smart for that. They use jokes, sarcasm, passive aggression. They make a comment that sounds innocent on the surface but has a sharp edge underneath. And if you react, if you get upset, they can always say, "I was just joking." You are too sensitive. They operate in the gray area, in the space where they can hurt you and deny it at the same time. You need to drag them into the light. When someone makes a snide comment or a backhanded compliment or a joke at your expense, you stop the conversation. You do not let it slide. You do not laugh it off. You look at them and you ask, "What are you trying to accomplish with that comment? Or are you trying to help me? Or are you trying to hurt me?" This is a direct confrontation. You are forcing them to explain their intent. You are making them own their words. And most people, when put on the spot like this, will panic, because now they have to choose. They can either admit they were being cruel, which makes them look bad, or they can backtrack and pretend they were joking, which makes them look weak. If they say, "I was just joking," you stay serious. You say, "Explain the joke to me." I do not get it. Now they have to dissect their own insult. They have to explain why being mean is funny. And that is almost impossible to do without sounding like a jerk. They will squirm. They will try to laugh it off. They will say, "Forget it. It was not that serious." And that is when you know you have won. Because you have forced them to retreat. You have made it clear that covert aggression will not work on you. You will decode it. You will call it out. And you will make them explain themselves. This teaches people a lesson. It teaches them that you are not an easy target. That if they want to come at you, they have to do it directly. And most people, when faced with that choice, will choose not to come at you at all. Because direct confrontation is risky, and they only wanted to hurt you if they could do it safely. Comeback number 6. The status shift. I expected better from you. Anger is hot. Disappointment is cold. When you get angry at someone, you are treating them like an equal, like a rival, like someone whose actions matter enough to make you lose control. But when you express disappointment, you are doing something different. You are positioning yourself above them. You are treating them like a subordinate who just failed to meet a standard. This is a high-status move. And it works best on people who care what you think. People who want your approval. People who see themselves as good, competent, respectable. When someone lies to you or breaks a promise or acts in a way that is beneath them, do not yell. Yelling shows they hurt you. Instead, you go cold. You look at them with a tired, almost sad expression. And you say, "I'm surprised. I expected better from you." This cuts deeper than any insult. Because it is not an attack. It is a judgment. You are not saying they are a bad person. You are saying they fell short of who you thought they were. And that creates shame. Shame is more powerful than anger, because shame is internal. It is the feeling that you have disappointed someone whose opinion you value. You can follow it up with something like, "I thought you were different," or "I did not think you were the kind of person who would do this." You are using their own self-image against them. Most people want to see themselves as good, as trustworthy, as better than average. When you tell them they are failing to live up to that image, it creates a psychological crack. And then you walk away. You do not wait for them to respond. You do not give them a chance to defend themselves. You just leave them sitting with that sentence, with that judgment. And they will chase you, not because you asked them to, but because they need to repair the image you just shattered. This flips the dynamic. Instead of you chasing them for an apology, they are chasing you for validation. They are trying to prove to you that they are better than what they just showed you. And that means you are in control. You are the one whose opinion matters. You are the authority. Use this carefully. It is a heavy tool. It damages relationships if overused. But when someone has genuinely disrespected you, when they have crossed a line, this is how you make sure they never do it again. Comeback number 7, the final dismissal. I do not care enough to argue with you about this. We have arrived at the end. The nuclear option. There are some arguments you cannot win, not because you are wrong, but because the other person is not interested in truth. They are not interested in resolution. They are interested in the fight itself. They are chaos agents, energy vampires, narcissists, people who will twist your words, move the goalposts, and drag you in circles until you are exhausted. And the only way to win against someone like that is to stop playing. Machiavelli understood that attention is currency, and you get to decide where you spend it. When you realize the conversation is going nowhere, when you realize the other person is not listening, not trying to understand, not operating in good faith, you deploy the nuclear option. You stop. You gather yourself. You look them in the eye, completely calm, and you say, "You can believe whatever you want. I do not care enough to argue with you about this." And then you leave. You walk away. You do not wait for permission. You do not explain yourself. You just go. This is the ultimate rejection. You are not saying, "I give up." You are saying, "You are not worth my time." You are telling them that their opinion, their anger, their entire existence in this moment is not significant enough to warrant another second of your attention. For someone who thrives on conflict, this is death. They will try to pull you back in. They will shout at your back. Oh, so you are running away now. You cannot handle the truth? Keep walking. Do not turn around. Do not respond. Your silence is the loudest statement you can make. It says, you do not control me. You do not have access to me. And if you disrespect me, I will remove myself from your presence without a second thought. This creates a vacuum. They are left alone with their anger. And anger, when it has no target, turns inward. They poison themselves. You are free. This is not about being cruel. It is about protecting your peace. It is about recognizing that some people do not deserve a seat at your table. And when they prove that to you, you have every right to stand up and leave. Now listen carefully. These 7 comebacks are tools, but tools are useless in shaking hands. If your voice is trembling, if your body language is defensive, if your energy is frantic, none of this will work. The words are only 10% of the equation. The delivery is 90%. You must be calm. You must be still. You must practice what I call the low-frequency state. Slow breathing, steady eye contact, relaxed posture. When the other person is speeding up, you slow down. When they raise their voice, you lower yours. This contrast is what makes these techniques devastating. It is the difference between a storm and a mountain. The storm rages. The mountain does not move. Be the mountain. Most people go through life as passengers. They let other people's emotions drive them. A boss yells, they feel small. A partner criticizes, they feel worthless. They are puppets, and the world pulls their strings. These techniques are the scissors. They cut the strings. They give you back control, not control over other people. Control over yourself, over your reactions, over your peace. It will feel strange at first. Your old self will want to defend. Your old self will want to explain. Your old self will feel guilty for not engaging. Let that self go. The new you does not explain. The new you observes. The new you decides when to speak and when to walk away. And that decision is made from a place of power, not fear. Here is the paradox. The more willing you are to walk away, the more control you have. The less you need to win, the more often you will win. The more comfortable you are with silence, with coldness, with being misunderstood, the more powerful you become. This is not taught in schools. It is not taught in therapy. It is not taught in most families. Because society benefits when you are reactive. Reactive people are easy to control. Reactive people buy things to feel better. Reactive people vote out of fear. Reactive people stay in bad relationships, bad jobs, bad situations because they are afraid of the discomfort that comes with setting boundaries. Do not be reactive. Be strategic. Step out of the emotional chaos. Step into the cold, clear space where decisions are made. This is where power lives. If you made it this far, you are not like most people. Most people will watch the first 2 minutes of a video like this and click away because it makes them uncomfortable. It challenges the way they see the world. It asks them to take responsibility. But you stayed. That tells me something about you. You are ready. You are willing to learn. You are willing to change. That is rare. Do not waste it. Practice these techniques not to hurt people, but to protect yourself, to command respect, to never again feel powerless in a conversation. The world is not fair. It is not kind, but it does respect strength. And now you have the tools to show it.